Hello, it's Karen Burniston here with an assembly video for one of our die sets. This is die number 1255, the mini gift bag, and you can check out all of our die designs at karenburniston.com. There are 8 pieces included in this die set. You can see them here, and on the back of the packaging you will find some written instructions. So this set makes a miniature gift bag, as the name implies. So 2 1/4 inches on the width, almost 3 inches on the height, just under an inch on the depth. You can, of course, decorate those for any themes, choosing your own colors. It comes with a little miniature jewelry tag, so that can be a fun addition. And then you can also explore making window and shaker bags using the included shape dies. You can use your miniature gift bags to present a gift card. A gift card fits nicely in that bag. To make the gift bag itself, you're going to use the 2 largest dies in the set. One that cuts basically 3/4 of the bag, and then the other one that cuts just one side of the bag. Now, my thought process in having those on separate dies was so that you could use just the front, for instance, maybe on a pop-up card where you just wanted to lift something up and out of the bag. But one of our design team members, Suzanne, pointed out that she loves those being on separate dies because then she can perfectly center what she wants on both the front and the back of the bag. So in this case, just going to my scrap bin and finding some cute pattern paper, I was able to get a deer centered on the back of the bag and the front of the bag. Okay, let me start with this big piece. So there are some score lines that the die has made. So one that creates the side of the bag, and then one up the middle of the side of the bag, and then one next to the little tapered tab. Now the one that goes up the middle of the side of the bag, it actually technically doesn't go through the tapered tab at the bottom. It stops when it gets there. So when I fold this, I basically don't pinch it all the way out to the end. I just let the tab out there just kind of stay rounded. But the reason that I'm trying to pinch that down is because then I can work those diagonal folds through both layers. So I can just wiggle that back and forth, finding those diagonal folds very easily. Okay, so technically that fold that's on the side of the bag will eventually be a valley fold. And then you'll see that the bottom section where those diagonal folds are will go the other way. But let me just work this last little fold on the side, which is for the tab itself. Okay. And you can see here, if I reverse the fold from a mountain to a valley along the side of the bag, then where those triangles are, they will start to come towards me. See that? They'll just come towards me. Okay, so now I have that side ready to go, and I'm going to switch over and do the other side. So turning it around, I'm going to find the fold where the side of the bag starts, and then there's a fold up the middle of the bag. So I'm going to fold that like a mountain fold, but not all the way out to the end. I'm just going to let the tab out on the end stay rounded. When I get to those diagonal folds, I'm going to push through both layers and pinch on the diagonal. So I'm just doing the diagonal folds in both directions through both layers. Then if I reverse the fold up the middle of the side of the bag, when it hits those triangles, the triangles will come towards me. Okay? And then I've still got that little tab that will attach the other side of the bag. So you can see how this is coming together now. Now I can kind of accordion fold the sides of the bag down and get to that kind of flat position. Okay, I could glue the other side on now, but actually let me work first on that last fold. I've got one to bring the tab to the bottom, and then I've got this horizontal fold here. Probably easier to fold towards myself on that. Okay, so I'm going to fold towards myself on that horizontal fold. And now that I've started that fold, I can put everything back where I was. And then against the table is probably the easiest. I grab the bottom edge and bring it up on that horizontal fold. And that will find the folds that are needed to collapse the miniature gift bag. Okay, so right there. So I've folded it up. It's basically looking like a grocery sack now. When I bring these tabs in on the bottom, you can really see it. So here's my folded up miniature gift bag. All it needs now is for the other side to be added. So on that other side, there is only one fold. It's the one at the bottom to create the long tab. And then that just glues on using those side tabs. I do like glue for this. Now you could certainly use a very strong, thin tape. So if you've got something like a red liner tape or a score tape that's thin and will fit those tabs, you could absolutely use tape instead. But I'm using my LINECO neutral pH adhesive in my fine tip bottle. We sell both of those items on our website, and I've just added the glue to both of those side tabs, and then I just have to get that piece up to the fold line. And I do have the possibility of doing that flat, so you can always just find the flat position and give it a really good pinch. Now, is that the front of the bag or the back of the bag? That's up to you. It's just whether or not you consider on a bag, is the full flat section the front with it folding to the back, or is the side that's folded the front with the flat section on the back? It doesn't matter. You can decorate it however you see fit. And you're really seeing why I like glue, because I can absolutely slide that around before the glue sets up to make sure that I have it nice and straight and aligned with the fold line. Okay, so here is my bag. I can kind of like expand it back out again. The only thing left is to connect those tabs at the bottom. So you can kind of choose. I think the side tabs going in first makes the most sense, but then you can always choose which one of the tapered tabs folds in first. I think the easiest is just to add a glue around the three sides, the three tapered sides of the side tabs, and then figuring out which one of your long tabs you want to be on top. You can add some glue along the long edge of that one. Probably easiest to do this in the flat position where you can get some pressure against it. So you can go back against the table again, put it into that flat position, and then press down all of the tabs. Okay, so there it is. You can see that. You can get in there and expand it. So the miniature gift bag actually, I think, works best out of something like a pattern paper or a lightweight cardstock. You certainly probably wouldn't want to use your heaviest cardstocks on this because it will just make it bulky. For handles, I suggest either twine or ribbon. So I'm using twine here. I've tied a knot in the twine. Then I'll get it through one of the holes of the gift bag and then around and through the other hole that's on the same side. And then I can just tie a knot in the twine and just kind of gauge where it needs to be to give me a handle of the length that I like. So just kind of pulling the twine through the knot until I get a size that I like. Okay. And then I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. So just tying a knot. Now you could tape it down if you don't want to do knots. You could certainly tape the twine or the ribbon on the inside of the bag and maybe even cover it with a decorative piece of paper or something. Or you could use washi tape. Washi tape would work good too. So in my case, I'm just using knots, but it sort of depends on what you plan to fill it with as to whether or not you've got room for the knots or not. Okay, so once I get my handles the way I like them, I can cut off the excess twine. And then now I've got that cute little miniature gift bag. So that's the assembly if you want to make a solid gift bag. And you'll see it will fold right up like a grocery sack. Okay, let's say that you want to do a window or a shaker bag. So you can use the big shape dies that come in the set to cut the hole. So that could be the heart or that could be the circle. And both of those have a decorative feature, either stitch lines or press dots on the outside of the cut line. Okay, now do I put it in this side or this side? That is just personal preference. So let me grab a bag here and show. See how the stitch lines end up on the bag because they're outside of the cut. I could cut it here, or I could do it on the side that has the fold line. It really literally just comes down to which side feels like the front to you. I'm choosing the side that has the fold lines to add my window, and I'm just going to use some temporary tape to hold that in place while I'm die cutting. You could certainly cut the apertures through both sides of the bag. Maybe you want to see right through it, so just get creative with that. As for a die cutting machine, I'm using my Spellbinders Platinum 6. It doesn't matter what die cutting machine you use, it just has to be big enough to accommodate the dies themselves. So all of the major die cutting machines will work great with this die set. Okay, so just getting out all of my pieces from the dies. That heart die is going to have cut a heart-shaped hole in the bag itself, and then I also have the positive space heart that I can use. And then for the big piece, the bag itself, you can see that now I have that heart-shaped window with a decorative stitch line around it. And I can easily see all of my score lines. Okay, folding is the same. I work the fold that's up the center of the side of the bag, but I don't pinch it all the way out to the end, but I do work the diagonals through both directions. Then when I reverse the fold in the middle of the side of the bag, it'll bring the triangle section out towards me. Turning and working my way around to the other side, tapered tab there, tapered tab for the side of the bag, fold to define the side, and then one up the middle of the side. When I get to the diagonals, I press that diagonal fold through both layers in both directions, and then I reverse the fold up the middle of the side, which brings the triangles out toward me. So you'll get really good at this. Getting to this position is pretty easy. Then those little side tabs, they have their own little fold. to come towards the bottom. Okay, and then if I kind of open it up, I can work that horizontal fold towards myself like this, then return everything back to where it was, put it against the table, bring that bottom edge of the bag up to find the flat position. Okay, let's freeze for a second just so you can take a look at that. So that's the folded up position. I just need to bring my side tabs to the bottom. Okay, but this is the flat position of the bag. Now, before I add the other side on, since I'm trying to do a little shaker thing, I'm just going to actually fold this all back out again, and then I can easily add my shaker. I'm going to construct a little pocket for my shaker bits. So I started with a piece of transparency. It's 2 1/8 inches wide. And then on the length, I went to 4 inches and folded it in half at 2 inches. So now I'm using a very thin tape. So this is 1/8 of an inch red liner tacky tape. You could certainly just, use wider tape that hangs off the edges and then just cut off whatever hangs off the edge. Okay, so that's another way to do it if you didn't have the really skinny tape. All right, so now before I seal this up, I want to add some shaker bits. So first I'm going to look and see if it looks like it'll stay below the holes but outside of the heart, and it looks like it will do a great job. And then I'm going to reduce the static by just grabbing an anti-static pouch and just pouncing the inside of the transparency. I got a little zealous with mine, so I'm going to try and blow away a little bit of that powder. And then for a filling, just some pretty bright sequins. I'm just going to make a little puddle of sequins in there and then do my best to peel up the liner of that tape and seal my shaker closed without getting sequins all in my tape. Now, I know those of you who make shakers all the time have some excellent tips and tricks for this, and I'm going to let you all go on YouTube and find those tips and tricks. I don't make them often enough to have learned all the latest and greatest tricks. So anyway, I did pretty good. I got a couple sequins stuck in my tape, so I'm just going to have to take a tool and poke them so that they're out of the tape and down in the shaker itself. Okay, but now I did manage to make myself a cool little shaker for the inside of my bag, and now I just need some of that thin tape again to attach it. Now I don't have to put the tape everywhere because this shaker is sealed, so I just have to put enough to hold it around the opening. I do generally use tape for something like this where I'm going to be adding a transparency. I mean, the glue will hold it, but you'll have to wait for the glue to set up, so I just tend to use tape. Okay, so now I have my shaker pouch attached on the inside of the bag, and then I just need to add my single side to the back of the bag. So there's just one fold line in that for the tab at the bottom. And then once again, I'm just going to use my glue or strong tape in the small little side tabs to be able to attach that piece. Now the pattern paper that I used is gray on the inside. And so what I think I'm going to do is just glue that heart that came out of the middle of the opening to the inside of the back of the bag. And then it'll have that pink color, which I think the sequins will show up a little bit better against. So I'm just going to guess. I suppose there's probably a way that I could put that together and figure out exactly where it is, but I'm just going to look at where it is in relation to the holes and then just try and guess that I get my heart placement pretty similar. You can also add your handles before completing the assembly of the bag if that makes it easier. So in this case, I chose some silver kind of stretchy cord and I just wove through the little jewelry tag as I added one side and then just tied the ends together inside the bag. So just different ways that you can add the handles. In this case, I think I'm just going to use a little miniature glue dot to hold that knot inside the bag exactly where I want it. Then I just repeated that process to add the handle to the other side of the bag, and now I can glue the two pieces together. So glue on the little side tabs, and then I just need to make sure that the edges come right to the fold line. Okay, then the last thing to do is the tabs at the bottom. I like to bring the side tabs in first, take my glue around the perimeter of the tapered side and a little bit on the edge of whichever flap I plan to have on top. And then I can go into the closed position and get those put down and glued to each other. Okay, there it is, my finished cute little mini gift bag with a shaker front. You can try different variations, maybe tying the bag closed at the top with your ribbon or using some twine to attach the jewelry tag. You also have little decorator pieces in the set. So there are a couple of smaller hearts that layer together nicely. And if you like the look of the polka dots, there is a stencil feature on the smaller one where you can go through there with a pen and add all those dots or sponge through it. A collapsed gift bag works great inside a card too, just as a gift card holder. So you can just collapse up the bag, glue it in the card wherever you want to, and then it'll hold your gift card. And if you don't want to use the holes, just cover them up with an embellishment. We have a very talented design team, and I'd love to end assembly videos by showing some of their ideas. Sue Small Kreider uses a mini gift bag to hold a gift card inside this tag-shaped card. Sue also cleverly discovered that if you use our flip frame pop-up and very thin materials on the mini gift bag, you can actually make it stand up as a pop-up card. Frances made this matched set between a mini gift bag and our new Candy Hearts box. And Lois did something similar with this elegant set. Another matching set by Lois where she's got the card, the Candy Hearts box, and the bag. I love this idea by Nikki where she's using the mini gift bag and the Candy Hearts box, and then the candy itself makes part of the greeting. Here's a set of beautiful, elegant mini gift bags by Nikki Foden. And then you saw a couple of these earlier. Sandy made minions, boxes, bags, and tags. This was a cute idea from Sandy to hang some little mittens as charms off of the bag. And this was a cool idea from Sandy where she made personalized place cards and decorated each bag with the hobbies of the person. The mini gift bag is available now at a lot of your favorite local and online retailers, as well as from our website, KarenBurniston.com. Thanks for watching. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBurniston.com, where you can purchase these dies as well as find links to our other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.